What happens if you're stuck in an insane asylum and you're not crazy? Claire Foy finds out in Unsane. Unsane is the new film from Steven Soderbergh. It stars Claire Foy, who plays Queen Elizabeth on the Netflix drama The Crown. Foy plays Sawyer. She has kind of a distant relationship with her mom. Her boss is just a D-bag. He's a trashy guy who just kind of hits on her. She's not really happy with her life, and she's experiencing maybe a mental breakdown or at least some flashbacks, something that's making her not feel right. She does the responsible thing of going and seeing a counselor, seeking them out and talking to somebody and just getting it all out there, explaining what's going on with her, why she doesn't feel great, what's in her head, and all these thoughts that's going through her mind. After talking with the counselor, Sawyer finds herself voluntarily committed to a psych ward for 24 hours. This is where things start to really unravel. That she, obviously, at least to herself, she's not crazy, she's not insane, she doesn't belong here. And yet we see her character go through these steps. They say, well, here, you need to fill this out. Okay, so she fills it out. Wait over there. After putting up a little bit of a fight, she then goes, waits over there. Come with me. She follows them. I need you to take off all of your clothes. Okay. And then she does. And it's just, you feel this awkwardness and this tension begin to rise in the film because, lady, why are you doing this? What's going on? What's in your head that you're thinking that this is okay? And then all of the workers are actually telling you, you need to do this. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. And so she's feeling pressured and coerced and even forced to do these things that they're telling her to. Steven Soderbergh, who directed this, he's directed all of the Oceans 11, 12, 13, Logan Lucky, Contagion, Aaron Brockovich. So he's got just a plethora of films that he has directed under his belt. And in this, he decides to take a chance. And what he does is he shoots the entire film on an iPhone. And, hey, look, this is me on a phone right now. No, it's not an iPhone, it's my Android, but whatever, what are you gonna do? That's all I got. So you can tell the difference right now going from this to this to this. The benefits of shooting on the iPhone is that Soderbergh can get really close to the subject. I mean, he can get just like right here with them, and they don't have to tear out walls, they don't have to move things around, they don't have to build all of these sets. They can actually film in locations that were made for the locations. So you look at like a bathroom scene, and Claire Foy, Sawyer, is standing in front of a mirror, and she's this close to the mirror maybe. And the camera is right there. And so you just see her, and I mean, pores and all. It's not a flattering thing, but again, the whole film isn't made to be that way. It's meant to set you on edge, and the filmmaking definitely does that. The story is absolutely brilliant. It is very believable, and it's quiet. A lot of the time, there's not actually any soundtrack that's happening, so you're just left in the silence. Or you're left with this unease, the differing camera angles, which are weird, and then they jump back and forth. You're just unsettled by this. If you've seen any part of the Unsane trailer, you know that part of the reason that Sawyer goes to even talk to a counselor is because she believes she's seeing her stalker at work, on the road, walking around, different things like that. And so it really unsettles her, and it makes her doubt her sanity. And she just wants to unburden, she wants to get past this. And you can see that she has some sort of PTSD, really. I mean, it is a traumatic event in her life, and it's causing her to see these things. Once she's in the care facility, she still sees him. She still sees her stalker. At least she thinks she does. Is she sane? Is she insane? Soderbergh is causing a couple of different types of commentaries here. One of it is an overarching look at the healthcare system and the mental healthcare system, because he addresses that in a number of different ways, including insurance. It's not overbearing, and it's not drawn out, and it's not boring either. It's very interesting, and it works well with the story. It's very credible and very believable. So don't hear that and go, oh gosh, it's just some political thing. And no, it's not at all. You don't even feel that. The other commentary that Soderbergh is pushing is, how do you know really that you're insane or sane? Because if I am forced to go into a mental asylum or a care facility, something like that, and I'm then forced against my will, or at least what I think is against my will, to do all of these things, if I'm a sane person, I'm gonna put up a fight. No, I'm not gonna do this. Why are you trying to do this? I don't wanna take those drugs. Oh, what are you doing? Stop, right? Any normal, sane person would do that. But isn't that what an insane person is also going to do? They're going to fight every bit of the way too. They're not going to want to take the pills. They're not going to want to obey. They're not going to be complacent until they're drugged up, and then they become completely complacent and they just go about as mindless drones drugged out of their minds. Here's a question to ask. Do crazy people know they're crazy? And if a crazy person knows they're crazy, doesn't that make them sane? So I mentioned the film was shot entirely on an iPhone. Now, my oldest son absolutely loved it. He thought it worked really well. It drew him in. It actually added to the story for him. The thing that bothered me with this is that there was zero depth of focus. That was one of the problems. So that it's kind of like when you shoot on a GoPro, you know, everything is in focus, whether it's really far behind you or right up in front. And I appreciate a little bit more of that depth. I want to see whatever's up front in focus, back a little blurred out or completely blurred out as it goes along. The other thing was the extreme contrast between the light and dark. Now, when things were really light, they were blown out, and then all of the blacks were crushed. And so what happened is, if you had a light in the back, the iPhone can't really determine what's going on. And this is not a slam to the iPhone, it's a phone, right? And it has a really good camera on it. But you would have this really bright light, and then you could barely see the people. Some of that can be used to an effect, but overall throughout the film, I found that to be distracting. The opening scene is a walking through a forest with a narration, and what bothered me right off the bat was it wasn't smooth, and it wasn't even gated like somebody would be taking steps. It was just kind of jerky, like back and forth, and almost I thought, gosh, is the projector screwing up a little bit? Because it's kind of you know, jagged there. That happened throughout the film in certain areas, and it was distracting to me. Now, some people may not even notice that, and it won't even bother them, or you may actually love that effect and it adds to it, and you're like, sweet, Chris, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, but for me, it bothered me. There you go. If though you're like my oldest son and he really enjoyed that look and that feel, then hey, it's going to add to your experience. You got to stay till the end credits. It's very short. These are not long credits or anything. There's no after credit scene or anything like that. It's just a throwback to the old 70s movies. Some of them horror, some of them not. When you see it, you'll understand. It was just a cool effect and it was fun, and there you go. Claire Foy did an amazing job. She is very believable, and you see her falling down and down and down into this spiral of questioning her own sanity and what's going on and what's real, and maybe I do belong here, and yet then fighting back every bit of it because she knows she doesn't, and that struggle back and forth. There are a couple of really good twists in it. No nudity, lots of violence, a lot of language. It only clocks in at 98 minutes, so it's an enjoyable, a quick time, and honestly, I didn't feel the time at all. I didn't want it to be longer than what it was. It was the perfect length. Now, sometimes I really want a movie to go on because I'm so engrossed in it and everything else. This one, though, I don't think I could have taken it much longer, because not that it was bad by any means. It wasn't. It was just so oppressive and so me on the edge of my seat, just clawing for my own sanity almost, that, oh gosh, no, I need it to end. Unsane has a great cast, great direction, and is just an awesome movie. I give it 4 out of 5 couches. Did you see it? What'd you think? Leave your comments below, please. If you enjoyed this film, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.